Hello everyone, this is Cybertronian Beast, and let's talk Transformers. Today we're taking a look at Transformers Generations Scout Class Brawl. This is one of the GDO exclusives, and it was initially intended for Asia only, but Toys R Us got a hold of them and brought them exclusively to Toys R Us for North America. And I'm happy that they did. These are great figures. Today we're going to look at Brawl, but I do have the rest of the Scout class as well. Dead End, Sandstorm, and Laserbeak. But let's look at Brawl today. Brawl is a repaint of Hunt for Decepticons Breacher. And that Breacher mold is a fantastic mold. But enough from me about the history of the mold. Let's get this thing open and take a look at the actual character. Alright, so there is Brawl out of the packaging, and the first thing I noticed as soon as I saw him in the store was his paint. The paint apps on Brawl are amazing. Just take a quick look here at some of the close-ups. The Decepticon logos on him, the highlighted paint, the numbering, it's just very crisp. The face sculpt on him, it is in fact the same head sculpt that they use on Breacher, but just painted obviously differently, and it looks really, really good. Take a quick look at the back. It's not much to show on the back. It is basically blank, but it looks really, really good. I do like the gun. The gun can be held in both hands, and it's just a clip-on gun with the little snap claw there, so you can hold it in either hand, and yeah, doesn't matter. Articulation on this Scout figure is pretty good. He has ankle swivels, so his feet can actually twist a full 180 degrees, or full 360 degrees, sorry. He doesn't really have a knee joint specifically, unless you want to count that. Yeah. So he has a knee joint up here, full 90 degrees. He does have a hip joint. It is a ball joint, so you're going to get a full range of motion on that. He does have a waist joint. You just have to make sure that that is flipped up, and now he can swivel at the waist. It does only go one direction though, so that's kind of odd. No, sorry, it will. So it can go both directions. His shoulders do swing around. It is a ball joint, but again, it is limited, as you can see here. It won't go fully back all the way, but it can go forward. But again, on the ball joint, it will allow the shoulders to go around 360 degrees. He does have an elbow joint. Again, another ball joint, so you can get that arm to go around all the way. You are limited a bit by transformation pegs, so you may not be able to get it to go completely around unless you really do want to mess around with it a bit there. His wrists do swing all the way around as well, 360. Again, another ball joint. His head is on a ball joint, and if you are trying, you can get his head to go 360 as well. So that's it for articulation. It's a great little figure. I love it. Let's get down into the transformation here. First, what I like to do is separate the abdomen here, and that gives you a little bit more space to work with. One thing you can do right away, because it's right here in your fingertips really, is this little piece here can come down, and that's really quite simple. Next, you can flip the head center area back. This is quite simple, and while you're doing that, you might as well turn this piece around, because it's quite easy to do this right now, because once you get further into the transformation, this becomes quite difficult to do with pieces and parts hindering the movement. We're going to leave the arms for right now because they're going to go into the middle and kind of lock everything together. But what we'll do is we'll work on the legs for now, and we can do the feet. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring the feet around and in to the center. Same thing on the other foot, down and in, so that they kind of just face each other here like that. And once you got it like that, you can bring it around on the other side and flip up these panels that are actually covering the backs of his legs. And once you open those up, you'll be able to now twist or bend the legs in on themselves, so that you've got this here showing. Now basically you're starting to form the back of the vehicle, and you can now push these, what were the knees of Brawl before, you can push them up into their spots. And it doesn't matter, you can do it now or you can do it later, but I like to do it now. You can now join these legs together and keep it as the solid piece for the back of the vehicle. What we can do now is we can now swivel this top bit completely 180, so that this piece here can now come into its spot, and that's quite easy. It's not a big deal. There really isn't a spot for this to peg in anywhere. It just kind of drops down into its spot. But saying that, these two panels that were the backs of his legs, they do peg in. There is a little hole or a little space here, these two spots here, and then there's a peg right in here, right there, the green peg. That's the peg. You want to get that in there. There's that one, and there's that one. Perfect. Now we're just left with the front. So the back is done. You're now done with the back. And basically what we want to do is we want to put the arms in, and you just have to, we're going to flip it over here, and the arms peg in very nicely. So we're just going to swing the arms in so that the wheels are in their spots, and you're going to see this little peg right here, and that's going to peg into there. It's a little tiny hole right there, and that peg goes into there. So we're going to do that. This can be a little bit difficult to do, so you just got to work at it a little bit. We'll get that in there. Yeah, it's going to be funny today. The one thing about this figure that I really do like is everything does seem to want to peg into somewhere. So both modes, both robot and alt mode, are super solid. Let's go get in there. Perfect. There, that one's in. So that's pegged in there. And now we'll get the other side. So again, the peg goes into the port. Perfect. There we go. So that's nice and solid. So now all we got to deal with are the doors, which are all both solidly attached to the arms. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of rotate these upwards into a spot. Now again, we've got another peg. There's a peg right there on the door, and there's a port on the inside here. So we're going to line these up. So we're going to line them up by rotating. Whoops, that door came off. Put that back on. There. We're just going to rotate the arms around so that they can shift upwards. So we're just getting it set like that. I'll try and get some light on it there. So that we've got the ball joint hole facing upwards. That'll make it a lot easier for us. Do it with the other one here. There we go. Okay, now that we've got that, we should be a little bit more easier to do this. Okay. Alright, now let's get that peg port lined up. Perfect. There's one. Okay. And there's two. Perfect. Okay, so now we're basically just separated here. Everything's kind of in its spot. We've just got to bring everything together. One thing I do like to do is just kind of make sure that the hands are dealt with. They're not going to get in any way. And we just kind of bring everything together. There is a small, it's not really a peg, more of a part of the body here that fits in just over top of this other one here. So you just want to line those two up. And then the same on the other side here. So you just got to get that in there, that in there, and everything just kind of crunches together. Okay, I've got something pushing on something else. Alright, it's one of the hands. I didn't have it dealt with. Alright, so let's do that. So what I've done is I've just rotated the hands so that the peg that it uses to hold the gun is now facing on the outside. And that should help a lot. Okay. So one side is basically in. What is pushing on this other side? Oh, the hand came down again. There we go. Those hands always getting in the way. Okay, so that hand is now fixed, and we've got that. Okay, and yeah, so essentially we are now done with the alt mode. What you can do, and basically it doesn't really matter how you do it, the gun now can go on the front. Like that, and it is a turret, so you can spin it 360 degrees. It can face up, it can go up a bit. You can have it however you want to have it. It's completely up to you. And this piece that we had for the first transformation, that kind of goes up as like a braking barrier. It's kind of cool. It's not really meant to do anything else. There's really no other purpose for it. But other than that, this is an awesome, awesome figure. I really, really like this figure. Brawl is an amazing, amazing character to have remade into a Scout class figure. First off, it's literally the same size as what a G1 figure would be. And I did do a couple bits of toying around, and if a third-party company were inclined enough, you could make a case for this being a leg for a combiner. I mean, that could do it. I mean, you could probably make something to fit into there, not too difficult, and make an add-on to make that into a leg, and you're set. I mean, that would be pretty easy. But and I mean, obviously you also have Breacher to work with too, right? So there's two legs, and yeah, I mean, that's just really cool. I like the idea that if a company were so inclined, you could literally make a combiner out of Scout class figures. But yeah, no, I really like this figure. Again, looking at the paint apps, there really isn't anything on the back. Everything's kind of put on the front. So you've got your windows, which are all flat black. You've got your numbering, D67. I don't know if that means anything. It may just be a random number. The chrome type paint for the headlights is fantastic. And then the gold-ish paint for the kind of the front bumper. And then obviously the Decepticon insignia is really well done, really nicely painted. I have no complaints for this figure. It's a really nice figure, and yeah, I can't say that for the rest of the Scout class Asian exclusives, the GDOs, as I have had some complaints about the other ones, but this one's a knockout. It basically is a perfect figure, and I have to say, if anyone has the ability to get this figure and you don't already have Breacher, get it, because this is a fantastic figure. I'm going to probably pursue getting Breacher still, because I do have Sea Spray, and apparently Sea Spray and Breacher really do go well together. So I'm going to go and try and get Sea Spray his Breacher figure, because it just goes in the back super well. But other than that, this Brawl figure is fabulous. So yeah, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. This has been Cybertronian Beast, and I'll talk to you later.